والتي أحصنت فرجها فنفخنا فيها من روحنا وجعلناها وابنها آية للعالمين إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاعبدون وتقطعوا أمرهم بينهم كل إلينا راجعون فمن يعمل من الصالحات وهو مؤمن فلا كفران لسعيه وإنا له كاتبون وحرام على قرية أهلكناها أنهم لا يرجعون حتى إذا فتحت يأجوج ومأجوج وهم من كل حدب ينسلون واقترب الوعد الحق فإذا هي شاخصة أبصار الذين كفروا يا ويلنا قد كنا في غفلة من هذا بل كنا ظالمين إنكم وما تعبدون من دون الله حصب جهنم أنتم لها واردون لو كان هؤلاء آلهة ما وردوها.
تمام. Shall I start? Nice morning for every one of you. Everybody hearing me? Is everybody hearing me?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Time. Several remarks are noteworthy. عدة أشياء مهمة you have to note. I don't like the work done by أسماء النجار. عشان نتكلم frankly. What أسماء النجار is doing, she is doing you disservice. أيوة, you are doing my students a disservice. أنت بتنفعيش الطلاب لما تعليمهم ملخص. لما يجيني ملخصات similar and the same mistakes are found in all the summary works you send me back, one thing sticks to my mind is that there is plagiarism. في هناك سرقة أدبية. واحد بلخص والكل بيكتب تلخيصه وبيبعته للدكتور. This is a very heinous theft. هذه سرقة لا نقبل بها ونريد من الكل أن يستطيع أن يلخص الورك اوف ارت اللي عنده مش يعتمد على تلخيص زميل إله. هيني أنا واضح وبحكي بالعربي واضح. عندما تتشابه الملخصات وتتشابه الأعمال وأجد نفس الأخطاء حتى وفي نفس المكان وفي نفس الجملة, this is most astonishing, most embarrassing, most vexing. بجنن. خلي الواحد يعصب. هيني قال أنا بحكي بدوش أنا شايفش بكتبوه. In my capacity as a university professor, I am warning you against this, against committing this. Capable of doing your own respective summaries. Borrowing someone's summary is an academic offense. Quite sure. يعني قاعد أنا بحكي وأنتم بتبعتوا لبعض وبتعملوا chatting. I advise you to work individually, and every one of you is required to do her own respective summary. This is very important. You are university students majoring in English, and the net is full of fine works, fine tasks. You need to be able to seek for knowledge for yourselves and construct your knowledge. تبنيها أنت. Why do you consider somebody is much better than yourselves? ليش؟ تعتبري إنه سين من الناس أفضل منك وبتروح تاخذي تلخيصه. مش معقول مش معقول مش معقول مش معقول. الآن let us start discussing another point. With regards to the first midterm exam, it's going to be covering, it covers the first act, the first 5 lectures. منار ليش بتحكي معي؟ افتح لي خليهم يحكوا معي. منار, what is your question? طب منار, yes, what is your question? Okay. منار وشيماء, yes, what is your question? ليش ما بيسمعونيش؟ طب ليش ما بيحكوا؟ ما السؤال؟ اللي رافع ايده ايش سؤاله؟ ايش بده؟
أنا بالغلط يا دكتور هاي الإيد مرفوعة مش عارفة أشيلها.
ماشي مين أنت؟
أنا شيماء خلص أعرف نزلتها.
شيماء
دكتور معلش بدي أسألك. الحين يا دكتور الحين المسرحية إحنا نفهم شخصياتها ونفهم الأحداث، هو هيك المطلوب منا؟
طبعا significance كمان وتركزي على المواضيع اللي ببعث لكم إياها هنا قاعد هاي. The use of the supernatural in Hamlet. This is one of the main points. المادة اللي ببعث لكم إياها in the form of chapters, critical chapters, constitute part and parcel of the whole work. And a sort of question. You might expect that I would ask you a question like that. Right? Explore the role done by the supernatural element in Hamlet the play. واضح. أسئلة الامتحان الأخيرة مقالية. وبجيب لكم passage and excerpt من المسرحية وبقول لك comment. Read thoroughly and comment. The first midterm exam is going to be easy in order to appease your fears. Appease. A-P-P-E-A-S-E. يهدئ من روعكم. But the second midterm exam is going to be in the university campus using comment on or write on a question alongside with a true false question. يعني جاوبت على كل الأسئلة. كل واحد من حقه يسأل وأنا سأجيب. Am I clear enough? شيماء, am I clear enough? إيرينا, I am clear. ليش بتقول؟ أنا واضح يا بنات. إلانا, مين مسكر المايك؟ أنا مسكر المايك. اعمل Yes. كلامي واضح.
يا دكتور واضح.
دكتور كلامك واضح، بس بدي أسألك.
ماشي بكرة. قل لي أنت فاجأتنا بطريقة الأسئلة. Oh, who's that guy?
دكتور
نعم.
لقيت الاختبار، في اختبار نصف يعني راح يكون في الجامعة، أنت تو حكيت.
يعني نعم ما في الجامعة.
يعني
طب
الثاني
ليه ما يكون إلكتروني زي النصف الأول؟
النصف الأول غلط اختيار متعدد، النصف الثاني لا، جزء هيك وجزء هيك.
يعني النهائي والنصف الثاني في الجامعة، في اختبارات الجامعة راح يكون؟
في اختبارات في الجامعة طبعا. مين جايب معانا يا بنات؟
مستمعينك يا دكتور، شو حكيت؟
بسأل في اختبارات في الجامعة النصف الثاني في الجامعة والأخير في الجامعة. معانا بصيح لنا قاعد. طيب نبدأ يا بنات الآن. أنا أجبت على أسئلتكم الآن. أجبت على الأسئلة. طيب. The use of the supernatural in Hamlet. As the word appears in front of your eyesight or eyes. صحيح. الله يا اسماء النجار الابن مصيحتت في المايك بكفي، الله يهديها ويصلح حالها، الدنيا عيد. بعدين يا اسماء ما تلخصيش ولا حاجه يا اسماء. سمعاني يا اسماء؟ اسماء الصور انا مش عارف اشوف الورق. كيف اعمل اسكر؟ كيف؟ طبعا شيل لي بس هذا ولا شيل هذول الصور، شيل هذول صورك نزلها، نزل منها نزلها خلاص فكرتهم شويه. طيب ذا سوبر ناتشرال، ذا سوبر ايوه تمام، ايوه اسماء يرضى عليك ما تلخصيش لحدا، خليهم يعتدوا على حالهم. They should rely on themselves. Reliance. The supernatural here, the supernatural, the word is a noun. Sometimes it appears as an adjective, supernatural element, but here it is used as a noun. The supernatural in the form of the ghost. The supernatural هو القوى الخارقة للطبيعة، اللي هي القوى ليست طبيعية. Shakespeare in his plays made extensive use of the supernatural element, as was the case in the Elizabethan age. The Elizabethan age believed a lot in the supernatural power. The supernatural element in Hamlet appears in the form of the ghost. The ghost of the king. The ghost of the king Hamlet. Hamlet the king. ما خدش شكل غير هيك. The ghost has been seen twice by two people. What does this mean? It means that the objective reality يعني له حقيقة واقعة. If it is seen by two people, then it is seen by Horatio, a third person, and this same apparition or ghost is seen by Hamlet, and it speaks to Hamlet. This means that the ghost has an objective reality. Because the ghost as a supernatural element in the play has been understood differently and interpret it in different ways. Some people believe in its objective reality. Some people say that it is brought about by our imagination, troubled imagination. In some cases, in some cases, it has objective reality. In other cases, in other appearances, it is a reflection of our mind. We go through, we don't address yourself to everybody يا أسماء. ما تخاطبيش حدا يا أسماء. ما تخاطبيش حدا يا أسماء. The ghost has been seen twice by two officers of the guard, two guards. Marsilius, Bernardo, before they decide to bring Horatio and tell Horatio, the scientific person, the academic person, the learned person, to spot where they have been seeing the apparition. Apparition is another word of the ghost. Horatio is a scholar and he is skeptical about the existence of ghosts, the existence of supernatural powers. He is a university student, and this is an acceptable intellectual stance. Horatio comes to verify the report of the appearance of the ghost given to him by the two guards. When Horatio comes into the company of Marsilius and the latter tells him that Horatio is not Marsilius tells Bernardo that Horatio is not inclined, doesn't tend to believe that they have seen the ghost. And Horatio attributes the account they have given him to their fantasy, to their imagination. What you are seeing is the product of your imagination. Horatio says it's but our fantasy. Nothing more than our fantasy. يتهيأ لكم, يتخيل لكم, and will not let this. Horatio says it's but not fantasy and will not let belief take hold of him. هذا اللي بحكي مين؟ برناردو بحكي له زميله مارسيليوس. And will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight, touching regarding dreaded sight, fearful sight. Twice with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition comes, I don't know why, it's a matter of Elizabethan grammar. He may approve, or a mistake, he may approve our eyes and speak to it. He may approve, he may agree with what you have seen, he may and speak to, because he's a learned person, speak to the ghost. Horatius comment on this speech of man, it will not appear. He is assertive. He is certain it won't appear. Bernardo then begins to describe his experience of having seen the ghost, but is suddenly interrupted by the appearance of the ghost. الآن suddenly بيطلع الghost. It is the ghost of the late king of Denmark. Horatio says, it howled with fear and wonder. Harrow means vex, means torment, يعذب, means loot. كمان ينهبني, ينهب قلبي. ليش? It's quite natural that a ghost terrifies the one who beholds it. The atmosphere of tension and fear before the appearance of the ghost. In the very first lecture, I told you The atmosphere of the play is gloomy, is full of tension, is full of apprehension. The first scene takes place in the darkest point of time. في أكثر وقت كان ظلاما منتصف الليل. There is no doubt that all this talk about the ghost creates an atmosphere of tension and fear. Of course, and that the actual appearance of the ghost, follow me, on the stage would harrow the audience, would terrify the audience. And this feeling, arousing terror and fear, is part of the mission done by and wonder. The atmosphere of the supernatural has effectively been created, and the sensation of astonishment and terror effectively aroused in the readers and in the stage on the audience. تم إثارة هذه المشاعر، مشاعر الخوف والقلق والتنشن والاضطراب تمام. This is wanted in itself. The sense of mystery كمان، الإحساس بالغموض is deepened when the ghost looks offended by Horatius speaking to him and then stalks away, walks away. The ghost walks away. هوتلي. Stalk means walk. هوتلي يمشي بخيلاء. مالك؟ طيب, it's the ghost of a cat. Horatius now trembling and looking pale and fear. Looking pale and fear ولا fearful? Fearful. في خطأ في الجرامر. Looking pale adjective وفير noun. لا يصح عطف النون على الادجكتيف أو العكس. And fearful. صلحوها fearful. I am not the one who wrote this, but I am borrowing this from a certain author. هاي قلت لكم I am borrowing this, أنا ما كتبتوش. It is natural that the surprise and fear of Horatio should be proportionate to the degree of his former confidence and incredulity. يتناسب مع ثقته بنفسه ويتناسب مع عدم تصديقه بوجود أشباح. إنه ما دام تصدق فيه ممكن أنا أضرك. Credulity means belief. Horatio's previous levity makes his subsequent O means fear. خفته أو تعامله مع الجوست بشكل خفيف بمعنى استهزاءه بالجوست led him to feel trembling and paleness. شايف كيف الألوان paleness شعوب الوجه as a result of fear and tension seem like the effects of our own awe-stricken imagination وكأنها تأثيرات نابعة من خيالنا الذي ضربه الخوف. Horatio's reaction to the appearance of the ghost. Horatio here is to verify that the ghost has an objective reality. It is not the creation of the human minds. After recalling that the ghost has appeared in the very armor, silah, which the late king wore when he fought against the Norwegian monarch. Monarch means king. And that the ghost had the same frown, نفس كشرة الوجه, on it as the late king had when he smote the slitted poleaxe on the eyes. Smoke يعني هزمة. Slitted poleaxe النرويجيانز اللي كانوا بيركبوا على sleds زحافات الثلج. But that in his opinion the ghost bodes some strange eruption ينذر بشيء بارتباك في الساحة السياسية في الوطن. bodes forewarn ينذر FORE وبعدين الورن جنبها ينذر. تمام. some eruption to our state. على طول فهم انه هذا النذير سوء وتحطم لدولتنا او ارباك في دولتنا. لاحظوا he has a national sense في الوطنية، هو وطني جدا. في الأخير هو the final character that becomes a king. In other words, Horatio, who is no longer skeptical, doubtful يعني, believes that the appearance of the ghost indicates that some evil is brewing. أن هناك بعض الشر يختمر أو is being contrived أو يتم إعداده in the state of Denmark, and that some danger threatens the country. What danger? قال some يعني mysterious. Horatio supports the view with, because he is a scientific person, what he says should be supported, should be backed up by evidence. ما قالش كلامه سكت، إنما جاب أدلة على فهمه هذا. Horatio supports his view with reference to the strange supernatural omens, الطالع أو الفعل السيء that were witnessed in Rome just before the assassination of Julius Caesar. تلك supernatural elements اللي طلعت قبل أن يقتل سيزر، قبل أن يقتله بروتوس. اوعوا تنسوا the crime of killing a king is an unpardonable crime. Unpardonable crime. لا يمكن التسامح فيها. من يقتل الملك لازم يقتل. لازم يقتل as a retribution. In the most high and palm state of Rome, palmy يعني quiet. In its highest point and palm state, a little ere the mightiest Julius fell, died, got killed. Mightiest يعني strongest. A little ere, a little time before, the graves stood tenantless. القبور لم يبقى فيها ساكنيها. And the sheeted dead, والموتى المكفنين, did squeak and gabber, كانوا يصرخون in the Roman streets, في شوارع روما. And this makes us believe that Horatio has deep knowledge of history. He's a learned man. عارف التاريخ. At this point, the ghost appears again, and he decides to cross it, even if it were to blast him. He decides to stand to encounter him in order to ask him several questions, though he was trembling with fear. He tries his utmost to make the ghost speak, but in vain. As the ghost seems to be stalking away, Horatio asks his two friends to stop the ghost, but they couldn't. He even asked one of the friends to strike the ghost by his partisan. Partisan يعني arrow, but he couldn't. Horatio says that the ghost started like a guilty thing. يبدو أنه يدل على أنه guilt، لأنه لا يخرج الجوست إلا ليعبر عن ذنوب. On hearing the crow, and that all spirits have to go back to their abodes when the cock is heard crowing. يعني the ghost left for its abode، يعني abode resting place أو residence في العالم الآخر مع حلول الفجر. the atmosphere of the supernatural mystery and fear. الجو الشائع اللي في الله هناك في غموض يعني ال supernatural element shows us mystery and fear, or reflects mystery and fear, or creates the atmosphere of fear, mystery and fear. هيدور ال supernatural element. We are exploring the role played by the supernatural element, namely the ghost. ديروا بالكم هيدور في المسرحية. The opening scene in which we see the ghost for the first time has a terrifying effect on the readers and the viewers as well. Critics are almost unanimous, مجمعين, in praising the subtle means by which Shakespeare has produced an atmosphere of supernatural mystery and fear. يثنون على قدرته في خلق هذا الجو الشائع من الميستري والخوف. Incidentally, the atmosphere of supernatural mystery and fear, the appearance of the ghost in the opening scene provides Shakespeare with an occasion for acquainting the audience with the military preparations that are going on in Denmark. هي أول حاجة، إنه يخبر الناس أن هناك an state of eruption and the country is preparing itself for war. Denmark is preparing itself for war. Can we get rid of, can we delete the ghost? No, because it plays a decisive role in the play and the events of the play. That the appearance of the ghost is bad omen for the country. That Marsilius asks why the manufacturer of weapons of war is going on. لماذا صناعة السلاح مستمرة? Denmark is preparing to defend itself against the attacks of Fortinbras of Norway. Hamlet's resolve to verify the facts. Hamlet, again, very much like Horatio, as both of them are university graduates, the university students, every one of them seeks verification. They aren't convinced by hearsay. Hearsay, hear وsay جنب بعض كلمة. لا يؤمنون فقط بما يسمعون، إنما يريدون التأكد بأنفسهم. This is a process of learning. This is the bright aspect. This is one of the bright aspects of Hamlet, the prince. Is his resolve here is noun, it is verb or a noun, and noun, to verify, to make the facts. يريد أن يتحقق مما يقال، يتحقق من الحقيقة. In scene 2, Act 1, Horatio, Marsilius, and Bernardo acquaint Hamlet, acquaint means inform, with what they have seen. And Hamlet makes up his mind to visit the spot at midnight to see if again, Hamlet too believes that the appearance of ghosts signifies some evil. أن ظهور الجوست يدل على الشر. My father, the spirit in arms, روح أبي في السلاح. All is not well. All is not well. Everything is not well, is not good. I doubt some foul play. على طول. I doubt some foul play. لعب خبيث. شيء خبيث. شكسبير بحب كلمة يستخدم صعب كثير. As it turns out كما يتبين later Hamlet's suspicion proved
ألف لام را تلك آيات الكتاب وقرآن مبين ربما يود الذين كفروا لو كانوا مسلمين ذرهم يأكلوا ويتمتعوا ويلههم الأمل فسوف يعلمون وما أهلكنا من قرية إلا ولها كتاب معلوم ما تسبق من أمة أجلها وما يستأخرون وقالوا يا أيها الذي نزل عليه الذكر إنك لمجنون لو ما تأتينا بالملائكة إن كنت من الصادقين ما ننزل الملائكة إلا بالحق وما كانوا إذا منظرين إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر وإنا له لحافظون ولقد أرسلنا من قبلك في شيع الأولين وما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون كذلك نسلكه في قلوب المجرمين لا يؤمنون به وقد خلت سنة الأولين ولو فتحنا عليهم بابا من السماء فظلوا فيه يعرجون لقالوا إنما سكرت أبصارنا بل نحن قوم مسحورون ولقد جعلنا في السماء بروجا وزيناها للناظرين وحفظناها من كل شيطان رجيم إلا من استرق السمع فاتبعه شهاب مبين والأرض مددناها وألقينا فيها رواسي وأنبتنا فيها من
It's nice that we are back to continue with our commentary on the supernatural power in Shakespeare, the element. Hamlet's suspicions that there is something, some foul play in the state turn out to be true. These suspicions turn out to be true and confirmed by the ghost of late. Hamlet's suspicion proves to be well grounded. لها أساس قوي. In scene 5, Act 4, Act 1, the ghost is seen by Hamlet and of course by Horatio and Mercedes, two other people standing beside. Hamlet is astonished and baffled, embarrassed, though not frightened, as Horatio had been on seeing the ghost. He asks the ghost to tell him its purpose in appearing, why the ghost is appearing there in full armor, in complete steel, يعني بسلاحه كاملا. Say, why is this? Wherefore, what should we do? Tell me, why this? Wherefore, yes, وإلى أين, and what should we do? But it is clear that the ghost would speak to Hamlet alone, not to everyone else, to everybody else. And Hamlet, disgraceful of the advice of his companions, his companion advised him not to follow the ghost, is prepared to follow the ghost at any cost, بأي ثمن. The ghost disclosure to Hamlet, ماذا قاله الghost؟ قال له the ghost reveals to Hamlet a secret unknown to anyone so far of how Claudius, who wears the crown of Denmark now, had murdered his brother, the reigning monarch, by pouring poison into his ear when he was asleep, and had then given out that the king had died. وأعلن, given out, publicly declared that the king had died of the bite of a serpent. The ghost speaks in very harsh terms of the murderer, who hasn't only usurped the throne. Usurp يعني اغتصب. Usurp يغتصب the throne of Denmark, but won the queen to his shameful lust. The ghost now lays a duty upon Hamlet namely to avenge the king, to take revenge, the revenge of his father on Claudius. The appearance of the ghost, vital to the plot. This is very, very important. It is not dispensable. لا يمكن الاستغناء عن دور الghost. We can do away with the appearance of the ghost because it is vital to the plot. مهم جدا للحبكة. It tells lots of incidents and events. We see that supernatural of the ghost, apart from producing the atmosphere of mystery and fear, is vital to the plot of this play. This play, the theme of which is revenge. The theme of revenge is revealed through the ghost. The ghost is therefore indispensable from the point of view of the plot. لا يمكن الاستغناء عنه من وجهة نظر الحبكة المسرحية. The ghost is therefore, yes, if it is possible, of course, to regard the ghost as a personification of Hamlet's own suspicion. بعض النقاد بيقولوا هيك إنه هو تجسيد لخيالات وهلوسات Hamlet, his father, that his father hadn't died of the sting of a serpent, but that he had been murdered by his uncle, the present king. But had it been Shakespeare's intention to treat the ghost as a physical representation of mental disorder, yes, لو كان شكسبير عايز يقول ان the ghost is no more than a mental representation of Hamlet's imagination, the ghost would have been seen only by Hamlet. لكن خلى بس Hamlet اللي يشوفه. لكن the ghost had been seen by 3 other people. وبالتالي it is not hallucination. It is not a personification of Hamlet's mental disturbance. It has an objective reality. The ghost has an objective reality. It is the first seen on the 2 different occasions it is first seen, رؤيا, by Marsilius and Bernardo in 2 different occasions. في حادثتين. It is then seen by Marsilius and Horatio. Subsequently, it is seen by Horatio, Marsilius, and Hamlet, 3 people. It is true that the ghost doesn't speak to any of the other persons, but spoke to Hamlet alone. To Hamlet alone. It is true, but the act of speaking restriction, the act of speaking to Hamlet alone doesn't mean that he is personification of Hamlet's disturbed mentality. And that also when Hamlet is alone, but this establishes the case against the ghost, to say that the ghost is not real, being regarded as an objective reality. Besides, we should not forget that Elizabethan audiences did believe in the appearance of the ghost for an individual person in the company of other people. The jarring effect of the ghost subterranean species. Jarring means harmful. Subterranean from the ground. كمان سمعوه 3-4 مرات اللي بيقولوا swear in the act, in the scene in which the ghost from under the ground asks or orders Horatio, Marsilius, and the other person to swear on the sword of Hamlet to keep what they have seen as top secret, This is the main point here, that the ghost is no longer looked on as a reflection or manifestation of mental disorder or hallucination. It is clear that Shakespeare's purpose was in introducing these subterranean species of the ghost to be admitted that the ghost, yes, I'm sorry, it is not clear. ما هدف Shakespeare is not clear. But it has to be admitted that the ghost intervention تدخله here is not only uncalled for, ليس مطلوبا, but jarring, يعني harmful. It irritates everybody. It is to be noted also that the ghost repetition of the word swear is heard not only by Hamlet but also by his 2 companions alongside with Horatio. On hearing the ghost speak the word swear, they swear. And even Horatio says this is most strange. Revenge, a sacred duty after the ghost revelation. This is the main theme of the play. The main theme of the play is pronounced by the ghost, is required by the ghost. طبعا, taking someone's father's revenge on the killer is a duty. Even in Palestinian heritage, in Egyptian heritage, when one's father gets killed at the hands of somebody else, the son is entrusted with the mission to take vengeance on the killer. كلنا لا نتخلص من غريزة الانتقام والقتل in retaliation of killing. الأستاذ, yes, everyone. الثأر, yes, الثأر يا أستاذ. إيمان, الثأر, revenge. Yes, this is the main theme of the play. The ghost revelation may have confirmed Hamlet's own suspicion regarding his father's death, Hydor, but a new element enters into his thinking to disturb his peace of mind. To disturb his peace of mind. It now becomes his sacred duty, Hamlet's sacred duty, to avenge his father's death, which he now knows has been deliberately caused by his uncle. And that is a task which he finds to be irksome, difficult, tedious. that the task of revenge is by no means welcome to him becomes clear when he says the king's, the ghost's order for Hamlet to take vengeance wasn't welcomed by Hamlet. It took, because at it as if it is irksome, difficult. He says, the time is out of joint. The time, the state, الوقت is out of joint. Oh, curse spite. Spite here means fate, that ever I was born to set it right. I said several times that Hamlet the prince is entrusted with a job which is very much bigger than himself. Setting the time right. Setting the time which is out of joint, setting it right. يعني restoring calm, quiet to the cosmic order. ايش؟ الكوزميك اوردر سمعتوها مني كثير، بسموها قبله ايش؟ النظام الكوني. Hamlet's antic disposition، مزاجه اللي يعني حالته المزاجيه اللي كان بيظهر فيها انه قال انه I want to put an antic disposition on my face، يتخفى في حالة مجنون. The appearance of the ghost is responsible for another important development in the play. هذا سؤال يجي جزء من إجابة على السؤال. Can we do away with the ghost? We can't. Hamlet would now like to see confirmation of what he has learned from the ghost. In his search of the confirmation, he decides to put an antic disposition on. The antic disposition partly explains Hamlet's strange behavior, يفسر سلوكه الغريب, and his strange remarks when he subsequently speaks to Polonius. Ophelia, كلامه الغريب, Polonius, Ophelia, King Lear, and others. Even though his strange behavior and these strange remarks have been attributed by some critics to real madness, don't think so. If you think so, you need to cite reasons. طيب, we continue. The ghost invisible to the queen in the closest scene في المشهد اللي كان بين في غرفة the queen's chamber، غرفة الملكة، Hamlet's mother. The ghost appears to Hamlet again, but is not seen by the queen herself. لكن the queen ما شافتوش. قلت لكم in the Elizabethan thought, the ghost can appear to an individual, to one single person, even if other persons are present in the scene. The ghost appears again in Act 3, Scene 4, when Hamlet already killed Polonius. But this time the ghost is visible only to Hamlet, not to his mother. The queen doesn't see the ghost, and finding Hamlet speaking to vacancy, إلى الفراغ, thinks that Hamlet is mad. The ghost tells Hamlet that it has come to withdraw almost blunted purpose. لأشهد هدفك الذي أصبح مثلما. هدفك اللي أنت you're in act to take it. I want to drive you to take vengeance. That is to urge Hamlet not to go on delaying his revenge. That's, yes, the queen is unable either to see the ghost or hear it, and therefore feels distressed to find Hamlet bending his eye on vacancy على الفراغ, ثبت عينيه على الفراغ, and holding discourse with incorporeal ear. These are her words. وأن يخلع الهواء. When Hamlet asks his mother whether she doesn't see anything, she replies nothing at all. It is possible to argue that the ghost here represents only Hamlet's own conscience. ممكن حد يجادل ويقول مدام Gertrude, the queen, is not able or wasn't able to see the ghost this time in this part of the play, in this very scene of the play, the ghost represents Hamlet's conscience اللي هو ضمير يمثل انعكاسا لضمير هاملت. Urging him الذي يدفعه and spurring him to revenge and accepted yes. If it is a product of the beholder's fancy, either the ghost is real or it is a product of the beholder's fancy, سواء كان هو نتاج عقل من يشهد من يلاحظ أو حقيقي, it is the product of the beholder's fancy. Several persons can simultaneously see and hear it. بعض الناس كلهم مش ممكن يعني في الفكر الزبيثي ممكن واحد يشوف من ضمن 10 يشوف الجوست. If it is real and it's been seen by officers of the guard and Horatio besides Hamlet, there is no reason why the queen shouldn't be able to see it. هذا نوع من النقاش. إذا شافوه الآخر ليش الملكة ما شافته؟ The problem remains unsolved like many other problems in Shakespearean drama. في كثير مشاكل تبقى غير محلولة في مسرح شكسبير. It has been asked also why the ghost, which appears in Act 1 in a warlike habit, here appears in the everyday clothing, لابس ملابس عادية, which the king used to wear when he was alive. But this is a matter of detail. The ghost in the closest scene, فيش وقت؟